All right, welcome everybody. This is another edition of our 8-minute webinar series. Today we're speaking with iHeart Media and Lauren Sandoval-McLeod, and she's going to walk us through what the process is like at iHeart, some tips around what they look for in resumes and what have you. So, Lauren, maybe just quickly tell us your role at iHeart Media.
Sure. So I manage the first ever tech internship program for the company. The intention of the program is to be able to bring in early talent pipelines. Most of our positions start at 3 years or more, and we really felt that it was important to have an avenue for early talent and entry-level students that were graduating.
Was there already an internship program for non-technical employees at iHeart Media in place?
No, there was only a sales internship program based out of New York, and it was also about 25 people a summer. So that was the only thing. And then the tech internship, I hire for the 3 tech hubs, which are in San Antonio at the headquarters, in Austin, and in New York City.
Okay, awesome, cool. All right, so tell us quickly about the company, about iHeart Media.
Yeah, well, so we are, like I said, headquartered in San Antonio. We started as Clear Channel in 1972, and we really have expanded and grown into the digital space. We rebranded in 2014 as iHeart Media, as most people know us. So our main areas are going to be your broadcast radio, and now we've expanded quite a bit into podcasting. We have the iHeart Radio app, where you can listen to any radio station across the country, but also engage in stations that are curated or find new music. And our value proposition is mostly, as we become more of a tech company focused on data analytics and building our own internal technologies, we've been able to really build a value add for marketers. Our revenues come from ad sales, and so we're able to allow everybody from your small mom and pop to a huge major conglomerate to be able to utilize our resources to create exciting ads to be able to promote their products either through the radio, on our online digital platforms, or through our podcast.
Cool. And how do candidates find the entry-level job opportunity?
The website for that is tech.iheartmediacareers.com, and we post any positions that we're going to have there. Typically, they get posted in December, and we start our intern program in June and run it through August. It's about 12 weeks. For if you're not a tech student and you're looking more for marketing or sales, typically the entry level for that is going to be like a traffic coordinator or anything with a coordinator role. And I would say those are going to be across the country. You have a co-op for electrical engineers. That's for our radio frequency engineering program. So that's another option as well.
What is the actual job title for the interns in your program?
They vary. So it'll say intern on it. So it'll be whatever the role is. So you could have cloud software engineering intern. So like I said, for the sales internships, I believe it's the same. If you go to our site, which is www.iheartmediacareers.com, we have an area where you can just check trainee, and that'll bring more of those like intern level positions. I'm a very strong advocate for career advising. So if you find me on LinkedIn, I'm happy, Lauren McLeod, I think I'm the only one out there. If somebody's willing to take the time to find me on LinkedIn and take my advice, and I'll take a look at your resume. I'm happy to review it and give you feedback. Any resume for any position, whether it's at iHeart or anywhere else, I recommend you tailor it specifically for the job that you're applying for.
Is GPA important?
I don't think so. Basically decline students from all the major schools, MIT, Stanford, University of Michigan. I'm just trying to think, like Princeton, Cornell. I've declined students from all those schools purely based on the fact that I still get great candidates that are coming from smaller unknown schools, but they've gone and done the legwork and they've gone out of their way to really figure out how to get that experience.
When do you look at cover letters, if at all?
I look at cover letters. I request them for the positions that I put out, I'm also the recruiter, so I'm the filter. And that's something that I have a preference for personally. It helps me get to know the candidate better. If you're working directly with the hiring manager already, like they may not have time to look at something like that. If you're gonna write a cover letter, make sure that it gets to the point quickly and that it really stands out and highlights your personal interest, passion, and that you paid attention to what they're looking for. And you're talking about what you can bring to the table.
What's the first thing that you typically look for on a resume when you're scanning through them?
Whether you have those hard skills, and then what are the things on the resume that show me that you potentially also have the soft skills.
People are still putting objectives in their email, in their resume. Do you look at that? And if you do look at that, what appeals to you most directly in terms of how it's written?
Unless you're going to make an objective that is really, I guess, eye-catching or helpful to me to understand what you're looking for, I would say don't even bother with it.
You have 3 locations: San Antonio, Austin, New York. The internships you hire for, are there internship opportunities in all of those locations?
Mine are, yes. And then again, those sales interns are going to be only in New York. And then the electrical engineering co-op is going to be across different markets.
Everyone's the same. Do you think a well-designed resume might capture your attention more?
No, I'm looking purely at content.
Okay.
So the thing that would maybe stand out is going to be people that put infographics that are actually relevant. So if you're putting like your strengths in an infographic or something like that can help me understand it, and you're putting it directly to skills. So some of the worst resumes I've seen in terms of actual structure are some of the best resumes, because I can quickly pick out the things I need to know about you. They're either in bold or they're formatted in a way that's easy, but it may not be in that perfect cover letter or resume format. The other area where it will matter is something like a UX designer. If you're actually applying for a design role, then that's definitely something I'm looking for on your resume.
Do you have any examples of like clever approaches that interns have taken to get their foot in the door?
I mean, you mentioned my last name. One of the funniest things that happened was I had someone just send me a LinkedIn message saying, and his last name was Baird, spelled almost the same way. And all he said was like, "Hey, I'm looking for an internship. And oh, by the way, I totally get your plight on the last name because like the spelling and the pronunciation." That wasn't what he said, but the way he said it was just very, very light, very funny. It made me chuckle. Like it made me really take a look at him. That might work for some people. It works for me. Some people might be turned off by it.
What's your interview process like?
So our interview process is basically, we'll start with a phone interview. If you make it past the phone interview, you will do an interview with the hiring manager, and that's going to differ. So it's either going to be another phone interview with the hiring manager, or it's going to be a test. So if it's a highly technical position, it'll be some kind of test or whiteboarding format. And then if you get past that, we'll bring you on for an on-site so you can meet the team, see the offices, and be able to get a better feel for the culture.
As far as the interview itself, how do you recommend people dress?
I think you should always dress professionally. With that said, there's a big difference between like a full suit and something that's professional and still shows that respect for the fact that you're in an interview. If you just show up well-groomed in a nice suit, you're still going to stand out.
Tell us about the conversion process. What percentage of the interns actually end up getting a full-time offer?
Yeah, so we've converted about 83% of our hires, and typically it is going to be on the same team doing a similar role.
Cool. Lauren, thank you so much for joining. Very much appreciate it. If we get any questions, I'll be sure to come back for a part 2 with you. But thanks again.
Thank you for having me.
Got it.